Morning everyone, how you doing? This is going to be a bit of a tutorial about how to take a plane down, how to take it apart, how to sharpen it, and how to sort of try and work out why your planing isn't working, and how you can remedy that. So first things first, let's have a quick look at the actual plane itself. So, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but let's do that. Right, as you can see, the planer has got your handle. It's got a handle at the back. You hold it like so. It's got a bottom face, which usually is kept rust-free because you're doing a lot of planing, and then it has a little blade poking out the base, out of the sole plate. Now, what you need to do is there's a cap iron, which is this thing. You flick that open like that. There's a little thingamajig there. Just slide that up. Take the cap iron out, and then you can take the blade out. As you can see, there are two parts. So I use this as a screwdriver. I was always told not to do it, but I don't care. There's a big screwdriver thing which almost seems a perfect fit for this cap iron. So we take it apart, and when you take it apart, you can see that there are two parts. You just move this down, put it through the little hole, and then you've got them apart. Now, what this piece does is when you clamp this together, it stops the blade from chattering, so it keeps it absolutely rigid. It gives it extra stiffness. So all that you have to do is, when we put it back together again, is get this probably about a mil away from the edge, being careful not to hit the blade. But you do that, and then you're set back up. So if you look on this, there are two edges to it. There's a sharpening, there's a grinding edge, and there's a sharpening edge. And what will happen is, as you use the plane and as you tear through your timber, you lose the edge. And I can tell that's not so if it was like razor sharp, this would be gripping my fingers like no tomorrow, but I can tell it's just like blunt as hell. So I don't know what I've been using. It's probably some oak that I used before, but now I'm going to sharpen that up. So I can tell that the grinding edge isn't too bad. It's quite reasonable because there's a lot of it, and then I'm just going to touch up the sharpening edge. So let's do this. So again, sharpening stone. We'll put the sharpening stone in the bench hook so you can see. Again, I've shown you get to see a lot of sharpening, because you end up sharpening your tools quite a lot, because they do get blunt. So here we go. I'm just going to spread the oil out. And the key to the planer is all about the edge. It's all about the blade. And then as long as you set it up right, then you will have a sharp edge to plane your timber. Right, so here we go. Let's just give it a quick. It won't need much because it's in very good order. And then you sort of say, yeah. Now I can feel that's not bad. I can feel it gripping, so, or I can feel it gripping my fingers, and that's what you got to do. It's really got to grip. See if it'll do the hairs. This is all nonsense. So it won't cut my hair, so it's not quite as sharp as it could be. Let's give it a go on the strop and see what happens. And that is now, yeah, that's just taking all the hairs off. So I know, so you can either do it by feel, but I can feel that's gripping the side of my finger like no one's business. Right, so now we know we have a very sharp blade. So put it back together again. So cap iron, move it back, move it across, and then move it down the edge. I've got it backwards, as you can see. So you need, this needs to go on the flat edge. There we go. See, there we go. So I am placing this, you can move it down, put it anywhere you want. I'm going to put it about 1 mil away from the edge. And hold it steady. Put your finger tightness on. Check it for square. Check it's all flush with the edges. Then give it a good nip up. Then I'm going to pop it back in. This is something called the frog. In all of my carpentry days and all of my joinery days, I've never really adjusted the frog. The reason you would adjust it is to open and close the mouth. Because I've only really worked with mostly softwoods, there's no need for me to close the mouth. But there's 2 screws there, and you can slide this back and forwards. If you close the mouth, then you're going to be better working for hardwoods, really difficult grain timbers, but there's going to be less room to get the flow of timber out, which is a pain, and it can stop you from planing. So for me, and for general use, leave the frog in quite an open position, which you'll probably come with. Right, so pop the blade in, get it over this little knobble here. There's this thing here makes the blade, I'll show you what that does in a minute, but that moves the blade along the plane, moves the blade in and out of square in relationship to the bed of the planer. Anyway, right, cap iron back on, and then just do that. Right, so you're in position. So now what you need to do is you need to look at get your eyes, and you need to look down the face of the planer, and you can see, or I can see. Can you see? You can see. Okay, oh, it's not bad, is it? You can see that if I move this little lever here back and forwards, you are going to be able to see the blade. Come on. You can see, I think you can see it now. Let's have a look. Yeah, I might be able to cut this out. Right, you might be able to just see the blade there now. So if I just get that, you can see the blade move. So what I'm looking for is the blade to be square along the length of the bed, which you move that about. And once you've got the blade square, then you have a wheel here, and that increases and makes the depth shallow. So what you're looking for is as shallow a depth where you can actually take a nice clean edge. If it's hardwood, then you'll need a shallower depth. If it's softwood, you can take a thicker depth. Let's practice on a bit of timber. Right, so as you can see, bit of sawn timber. I've marked a face edge and whatever for different projects, but what you can see is So I'm going to plane that. And the key to planing is to look where the grain is going. So if you look at this, you can see the grain is just it's coming this way on this side and that way on that side. So if I plane this way, it will be good. If I plane this way, it'll be good. But what will happen is it's going to tear either way, whichever way I do it. So understanding that is that generally, if you always plane the way that the timber breaks to the surface, and that way you'll get a nice sort of a nice smooth cut. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to do that, so what you have to do is just plane thinner sections and just accept that and then maybe I'll plane this way for this bit and I'll plane this way for this bit, and hopefully I'll be able to just manage to just make that quite nice in that little bit area. So let's give it a go anyway. Get it in your vise, something steady. Okay. It seems to be planing quite nice to start with. And as you can see, taking nice little lengths like so. And what you can see is that it's just, yeah, perfect, happy with that. And because it's so soft, it planes quite nicely. But let's have a look at that. So there's no tear along it. So, yeah, I mean, if any of you got any problems with planing, just drop me a line, because it, like with anything, it's all about trial and error. So just get the planer and give it a go. So let's have a go on the face edge. Again, looking good. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Remark your face side, face edge, so you need to check. So it spits out, but we'll do that in a second. But generally that is how you plane your timber off, and you can tell that your timber and your planing is working. If the timber, well, eventually what's going to happen is I'll use this so much, and then it'll stop planing and it'll start trying to tear the timber off. And when that happens, you know it's time to sharpen it up again. And that's why it's key to be able to sharpen your chisels and you plane them up, because they all lose their edge, and then you have to resharpen them. So you know that's just where we are, or that's how you are with sort of hand tools and stuff like that. Right. Okay. So I hope that was of some use to somebody. If you just persevere with it, then you will be able to use the planer, and it's just practice. So you know, and start with pine, and then work your way up to sort of harder woods. Because once you understand the concept of how it all works, then it all fires through with hardwoods. So, but they are harder and they're trickier. But you just need to ensure that you've got a sharper chisel or sharper planer, as we've been talking about. Right. Thanks very much, and please like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.